Welcome to Agile Data. My name is Romans. I'm the author of the concept and the main contributor for this framework. I have created Agile Data because I wasn't satisfied with the state of ORMs in the PHP community, and I've spent over a year researching and trying to come up with unique features. One of these features that makes Agile Toolkit unique is the way how we implement references. So if you have looked at my previous example, you'll see that a client, invoice, and line, and all of these three entities are related to each other, which means there are actually fields located in the database. For instance, the invoice contains a client ID. However, right now, Agile Data doesn't have any knowledge about this field being related. So I will go ahead and describe the relationship between the invoice and the client. That's all what I had to do, and it doesn't change anything on the UI, and so the same thing looks the same. There's this new field called client ID. However, it is possible to use this relation to import fields from the related model. And in here, what I will be using is a field import. The field actually it's called add title. So let's see how that works. So the client has a field called name, and when I'm calling add title, it imports one field, this name field, from the client and places it inside the invoice. Now this won't be an additional query. It in fact will be defined as a subquery for the name over here. So if I go ahead and change, for example, this invoice 9, you see that also the UI correctly understands that there's a relation in there and shows me a drop down. So let's say I pick a bread burden here. And when I refresh, the client ID changed, but also the client has changed. And with most of the framework, you would have to add additional field in here and you cache the name of the client, but not with Agile Data. With Agile Data, you just have to define relationship and you can import a field just like that. Now let's take a look at the other way, at the relations, how they go in the other direction. So let's say the one is okay. So that defines the relations in other direction, but nothing has happened as of yet. However, again, using this relation, I can do some really interesting thing. In this case, I will be adding an aggregate field. So we have this quantity in here, right? I like to show the total quantity per invoice. So I will be adding fields called QTI. And for the aggregation, I will be using a function sum. Oopsie. Okay. Yeah, so for this to actually work, I need to modify the invoice as well. And sorry, the line as well. And define model invoice like that. Perfect. So now what I have this field called quantity, and it's actually showing me how many items are there for each invoice. Again, this field is calculated automatically, and what's important, both of these fields are calculated inside SQL. Okay, I wanted to try one last thing. I'm not sure if it will work. So dumper will actually output all the queries before they are executed. So if I scroll up here, it shows me the 3 queries which were used to retrieve this data. So the first one is pretty simple, select name and ID from a client, but this one, it's the interesting one, right? So it selected the reference, the date, the client ID, but then it went ahead to select the name of the client, and you see it does all the aliasing itself. I didn't define any of this stuff. It came up with all of this automatically. And here's this another query for calculating quantity for the related lines inside the invoice, and again it figured out how to actually connect those things and how to aggregate them. I didn't have to do any of that. Next week I would like to look into how to create an awesome command line interface and then actually explore and play with your objects. So thank you very much, and please hit that like and subscribe buttons. Bye bye.